we're just getting everything sorted now, and we can get underway very shortly. Um, yeah, so it won't be too long whatsoever. But yeah, this is my bad. We but all good. We'll be underway very quickly. But if you are watching post-race, do make sure to just skip ahead to the intro where we get underway in racing. It shouldn't be too long, considering they were waiting for me, so it shouldn't be too bad. I've got plenty, thank you, Aaron, but we are getting underway and racing. So, welcome everyone, and here we are. We are here for the 1 year anniversary for APPF1 racing community. It's been a while. I've been here since around about Christmas time, and what a ride it's been. It's been one that's been very interesting. A shaky start, of course, for myself, but since then, I believe we've gotten on really well with great memories, and hopefully more to come over the coming months and seasons, and hopefully maybe even years. We'll never ever know. But just to celebrate that 1 year anniversary, we're here at Bahrain, a track that has seen a lot of good moments in the past of APPF1 and that of the Sprint Race Championship. So we're taking another visit. We've got a short qualifying, 80 minutes, followed by a 50% race, which is just going to make that make it that little bit more interesting. We've got quite a few drivers on the grid tonight to celebrate. We've got past champions, we've got Ghost, we've got Davila, definitely a lot of title contenders. We've got even the new guys that have come along to celebrate that. So yeah, it's lovely to see everyone coming along, and we'll see how good the racing can be tonight. "70 minutes then on the clock. We've got most recent sprint race champion, we've got Scott here, but we've also got season 1 sprint race champion Ghost. We've got runners up in the championship such as Paus, and even some of the new guys such as MX, who's only joined us for a few weeks, but he's here to celebrate, and that's lovely that the community are doing that. We've got Max though out on circuit, and let's see what sort of lap time he can do for his first run. Sort of around about Bahrain, you really do want to try for that low or yeah, high 20, maybe 6s, 28 maybe would be a pretty optimal lap. Again, you want to really think about the strategy, because you can see a lot of the guys out here on that medium tyre, just to try and get, you don't want to start on the softs, because you're pretty much forcing your hand onto the two-stop with that, because softs really don't last very long around here. So qualifying, it's not that too difficult to overtake around here either. So if you go on the softs, you're really forcing your own hand onto a two-stop, which is really suboptimal. And unless there's a safety car to really help you along with that, it's going to be very difficult to actually do really well. But what do I know? We'll see what people can do. We've got Davila in the Red Bull for a change. So we've got Davila and Paus both in different teams for the first time in quite a while. Certainly to my knowledge, and in the experiences of the Sprint Race Championship. Yeah, but we'll go on board with Max as he looks around at the final corner. And for his first lap on these soft compound tyres, I think a lot of people are doing, but a lot of people also on the mediums will see what they can do as Max hurdles towards, looking just after that 150, just before the 100, around about 125 or so. Roll the car in second gear to get that rotation, but don't want to do first gear. Very nicely from Max. Maybe could have been a little bit more smooth, but definitely not a bad effort for his first lap. Now looking to brake just before that curb on the left hand side. Third gear, roll it through, roll it all the way to the exit and then into turn 6 and 7. But you can just absolutely send it in and really give it everything. Brake as soon as you're in a straight line, pretty much for turn 8. Roll the car through again, second gear, short shift up to get that traction. And then towards the very notorious turn 9 and 10 complex. Downhill braking, just really got to try and limit the amount of braking that you do, but also actually get the car stopped, because you don't want to be locking up those front tyres. It's going to be costing you a lot of time, but the downhill doesn't help at all. Into turn 11. Again, very quick corner, just got to downshift really quickly, use that engine braking, and then roll the car through, flat out through turn 12. Purple to the middle sector, of course, for Max, being the only one to set a time through the middle sector. And he's only got 2 more corners to go. Well, one real corner if he sets this final one up pretty well. Brake at the 100. Don't want to hit that inside curb, roll it through pretty much a straight line from here on in. And a DRS open. The run to the line, let's see what he can do. So 27.9, not at all a bad effort from Max. I'll go on board with current reigning Season 3 Sprint Championship Scott in the Mercedes, staying true to that title winning car of his. Goes a little bit too deep into turn 8. And now heading towards the turn 9 and 10. Downhill braking again. Let's see how he handles it. You can see a massive lockup to the front left. That is something you can often expect. Sonic, Cleus, and MX all next to settle in. And Sumo there, 4 tenths quicker, going into a 27.4. Well, actually, around about 5 tenths quicker. Sumo coming in and settling a provisional for all time as we approach 30 minutes on the clock. Davila then beating that at 27.3. Scott seems to be on a pretty good lap with this one, heading to actually really gun for this. Purple through the first and second sector. He's on an absolute charge. Of course, Bahrain is the country in which he won his title on. Different layout of the circuit, but one that he certainly is going to love nonetheless as he bolts towards the start-finish straight. It's only P7. Must have been a pretty messy final sector there, so Scott only in P6 as it stands. You've got Paus in the Ferrari, now heading towards the final pit straight and across the line. It's provisional pole for Paus. Goes just under half a tenth quicker than his usual teammate Davila. The 27.3 currently the benchmark. Let's see what Aces can do. Of course, proven race winner in multiple series here in APPF1. Goes purple to the first sector. He seems to be absolutely on a charge in that Williams. Rolls it through a little bit too deep. Goes into first gear. Again, something you don't really quite fancy wanting to do on this game in particular. Downhill braker though, manages to roll it through. A little bit of a late lockup though. That sort of hurts his momentum. But he's managed to keep it rolling all the way through and just carry that speed. So it's not looking too bad. Maybe a little bit messy at places, but you can certainly get away with it at some points. Messy, a lap that looks quick might not always be quick. A lap that doesn't look quick might be one that's absolutely blisteringly quick. 106.4 to the middle sector for Aces. He's on a pretty good lap. I'd say that's going to put him well up there in the midfield. And we're going to have to see what he can do now as he approaches the final corner. Brake at the start of the curb, third gear. Don't want to hit that curb, just kills your momentum and really limits your exit. DRS open on the run to the line. Let's see what he can do. And as I said, well up there in the midfield. P6 for Aces as it stands. Max though still established there. 2 runs on those set of soft tyres. That's something he's going to have to want to change. He's going to want to get on some fresh tyres and head out and see what he can do, because he's at the moment inside the top 10, whether that'll stand or not, and depends on how well people improve upon their times in the second and third runs, if we have time for that, of course. But yeah, he's definitely going to want to get on some fresh tyres, because he does not want to start the race on those whatsoever. Yeah, that's going to be something a little bit awkward. Ace is on his, I'm going to presume, in lap. We've got Bitmappy in P10, currently on the medium tyres, 2 laps on those medium tyres, partnering Davila in the Red Bull. And we're going to see how well he can do. Does not want to be in the double digits, sort of the 13, 14 and 15, definitely not the teens, so he's going to hope that he can get himself up a little bit further up the grid. But yeah, Davila and Puffs showing some pretty good pace. Of course, Sumo not too far off, and Ace is actually putting in another really good lap. 27.4 for the Williams driver, as he now, I believe, backing off. He's got 10 minutes left though, and 2 lap old soft tyres, as I said with Max. It's not going to help him in the race. He's going to need to improve upon that. Aaron on the lap, first gear, rolls it through, short shifts up 2 gears. Yeah, nice traction to warm up the tyres on his outlap. Too bad. Of course, you want to do enough there, like that, where you warm the tyres up, but again, not too much where you overdo it a little bit too much, and they're a little bit hot. No one currently on a fast lap, apart from Aces, who's more of a in lap. Yeah. Davila now starting his lap though. Let's see what he can do. Currently P2, 4/100ths. We'll see him take a provisional pole with around about half of the session left to go. Rolls it through turn 2. You pretty much flat through turn 3. Turn 3 not much of a corner if you get turn 2 completely right, and looking into turn 4. A bit of a lock up though, but you can still carry that momentum through and use all the track on the exit. Looking in for turn 5 and 6. Purple 4/10 he's found to that first sector alone. He's looking in for a high at 26 so far. Let's see how much he can improve on the rest of the lap. Bit of a lock up into turn 8 and a bit of a shake coming out. That's not going to help, but downhill braking, let's see how he does it. Brakes in a straight line, that's the best thing you can do, and then open up the corner as much as you can. Second gear, he took that absolutely perfectly, did Davila. It's a tricky corner, it's hard to do that, and he's done that very, very well. Look for the 50, 4th gear, roll it through, use the track, gradually build up the throttle. Do not want to spin coming off of here, and then the absolutely horrible turn 12 that if you get it a little bit wrong, you're going to find yourself in the wall just under 4/10 up. He's lost a bit of time to the middle sector, but still very much up on his time. And let's see if he can be the first man into the 26s. Looking for the start of that curb. 3rd gear, rolls it through, jumps over that inside curb, but manages to roll it out to the exit. Still with some good momentum as he crosses the line. It's a 26.9. He found a little bit more time in that final sector. Paus is already out there trying to beat it. Sonic and Rasto putting themselves up there. Sonic into a 27.3, just behind Paus, and Rasto at 27.4. So 2 people that are doing incredibly well here in Bahrain, and a very mixed up grid, it must be said. We got champions very, very much down the order. I was looking for Ghost, and he's managed to put himself up into P2. So not a bad effort from the Alfa Romeo driver. I was looking to make the point that the champions are a little bit further down, but in fact one of them has just popped himself on the front row. But we got Sumo there out on a lap. Invalidated this lap, but he's on the medium tyre, so looking to improve upon his soft lap on the mediums and give him that extra little advantage when it comes to the race if he can improve. If not, he's going to be a little bit on the back foot. But accelerating into the pit lane. I was going to say accelerating to start a lap, but in fact it's accelerating into the pit lane. MX, of course, one of our newest members, took part in the final 2 rounds of the APPF1 Sprint Championship, and definitely established himself as one to look out for in APPF1. Didn't quite manage to convert his results into anything spectacular, but a purple middle sector there is showing what pace he definitely has through turn 13 and towards 14 and 15. This has been a pretty tidy lap, it must be said, on these fresh soft tyres for his second run, and 1 second up. This is so far looking to be well, going for pole. As Paus improved to a 27.0. What can MX do as he crosses the line? It is fastest by around about 5/10 or so. He found 1.3 seconds on that final lap. That was an incredible lap from the Haas, and yeah, definitely showing what he's made of. Palfs currently sits P3, 27.0. Not at all a bad time by any stretch of the imagination. He's just behind Davila, so they've swapped roles. Palfs was in front by a tiny amount, now he's behind by a tiny amount. So very fine lines. Max ever so slightly improves to a 27.6. And is currently still on those 2-lap old soft compound tyre. I believe this is a new set that he's worn out for 2 laps, and not going to be helping himself out too nicely for the race. We've got Scott though giving it another go. He's down in P12, and I'm sure that does not resemble his pace one bit. Locks up into turn 1, but rolls it through in second gear, breaks in a very nice straight line, and builds up the throttle through turn 2. Sets himself up for this back straight towards turn 4, looking again at utilise all of the track, brake at that 100 board, down to third gear, roll it through again, use the track on the exit. He's invalidated that one, and he was 3/10 up to the first sector, which already would have actually it wouldn't have improved his position, but it definitely would help improve his position if he could have carried that for the rest of the lap. But it's unfortunate for Scott. Davila out on another outlap, looking to improve upon his time, but another 5/10 is definitely going to be a tricky task. Let's see, he's on an outlap, and all eyes have at the moment been at the front. Because it's just been incredibly close until MX absolutely blew them away. But let's see what Davila can do. Can he find that burning passion inside him to find another 5/10 and maybe even more? Because who knows, maybe MX has still got a little bit more in the tank. So it's not even about passing him. It's about passing him and enough to keep it a little bit deep into turn 1, and that's going to really compromise his run for turn 2 and 3. And again, the whole straight, if you get turn 1 wrong, it ruins you pretty much all the way until turn 4, and yeah, that's not going to help at all. Big lock up into turn number 4 as well. It's not going to help. Runs it wide though. This is pretty much perfect, and yeah, you can see a 10th down because of going deep into turn 1. He's now on the back foot for the rest of the lap. Into turn 8. Again, a lock up. Bahrain is full of lockups. It's very easy to do, and Davila going to be backing off his lap time because he knows he's not improving upon this. 5/10 with 3 minutes left of this session to go. MX now looking to extend that advantage out in front. Still waiting for the AlphaTauri of Saki to get up there and get a lap in. So far, the only driver to have not put a lap time in. Cletus at the moment is at bottom of the timesheets, followed by Bitmappy and Scott in P12. Bitmappy in the teens. He's not going to be liking it to be starting there whatsoever, and is going to be looking to improve upon that one. Aces though, powerful to the middle sector, or so the graphics says. Currently a second off pole, but a little bit up on his time, and well, it's incredibly close between himself, Rasto and Sonic, so maybe even a minuscule improvement could improve his position on the grid as he rounds the final corner. And let's see what he can do. DRS open on the run to the line. Doesn't improve, messes up that final sector a little bit. And that definitely cost him. Davila retired from this session. That is on track, in fact, and I'll go on board with the Racing Point of Aces. Oh, that is so close between Davila's AI car and Aces there. Luckily, I don't think he was on a lap, but yeah, still incredibly close as we approach the final stages of qualifying. And Palfs could find himself on to the front row here in qualifying. Something he's definitely not a stranger to and would like to do again. But he's also got Ghost and Sonic who aren't far behind. Ghost, of course, knows how to qualify in Alfa Romeo. And, of course, in Season 1 in a Williams, he definitely knows what he's doing. But here goes Palfs in the Ferrari. Can he go for pole? Can he go for the front row? Only needs a little bit more of an improvement, but this is going to be his final lap of the session, as by the time he's round, the checker flag will be dropped. Looking again just before that 100 board into turn 1, roll it through second gear, a little bit of a dip, use that to help the car turn. Build up the throttle through turn 2, pretty much flat through turn 3 if you can get it right. DRS open, then all the way up towards turn 4, nearly at 200 miles an hour. Doesn't open up the corner as much as he can, but he's definitely taking that a lot tidier than most other people tonight, and he's looking at it to be pretty quick. He's 2.5 tenths nearly up on his time to the first sector, and this has been a pretty good lap so far for Powers. Bit of a lock up into turn 8, but that doesn't matter. He just about got it stopped and really nailed that apex on the inside there. He is absolutely gunning for it. MX though has left the session probably due to a lag out or something, but that means he can't improve upon his time, and he's at the mercy of Powers and Ghost and see what they can do. DRS open as he hurdles toward turn 11. Looking for that 50, just brake just before it, fourth gear, bit of a lock up, jumps over that inside curb. But so far so good. MX has managed to get himself back in. How much of an improvement? He's lost a little bit of time, does Paus. Only 1.5 tenths up as the checker flag has been out. A lot of people not making another run. Scott going for another run on the medium tyres. But can Paus improve upon his time? Needs a little bit more if he wants to topple Davila. Bit of a scrum as he exits the final corner. He's invalidated, and that is a shame for Paus. He's now at the mercy of Ghost and what he can do, and at the moment Ghost is on an absolute charge. Purple to the middle sector, goes a little bit wide, just about keeps it within track limits though. Powers could find himself at the back of the second row. As Ghost rounds the final corner, big lock up, carries that speed though, big tank slapper, but very well held from Ghost. Can it still be good enough? Has he lost too much time as he crossed the line? Goes P3, just about P3 though for the Alfa Romeo. And yeah, that mistake definitely cost him a chance at the front row there. Sumo rounds the final corner, and then we're just going to be waiting for Scott at the backside. What can Sumo do as he crosses the line? Jumps up to P6, great effort. And what can Scott do? He's 5 cents up on his time as the middle sector into the final corner, rolls it through on these mediums. Can he get himself into the top 10 and start the race on these mediums? DRS open on the run to the line. It's only P11. So that is qualifying done and dusted. It's MX that takes a very dominant pole position ahead of Davila and Ghost, and Paus locking out the front 2 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 for some very close competitors. Sonic in P5 with Sumo in P6, but incredibly close between the midfield. Rasto in P7, Aces versus Kings P8, Max and Aaron rounding off the top 10 with Scott in P11, S-Man P12, Bitmappy in P13, Cletus 14th, and Saki with no time in 15th. So going to be interesting to see what his race pace is like. Didn't get the opportunity to gauge what his quali pace was like and get an idea of where he can be, but I'm sure he's going to be gaining those positions in the race, feeling confident maybe to cut himself through the field. And we do love a last to first challenge. Let's see if he can complete the last to first challenge. Not too long until lights out now. Just waiting for everyone to ready up, get their strategy sorted, get their final adjustments to the cars, and of course under Parc Ferme, where they can't really change much in the way of the car, but you can definitely make some little tweaks if you want some final prep, maybe some final tweaking for the race, maybe a little bit more comfortable on the front wing, or a little bit more comfortable when it comes to the tyre pressures, so you can extend your stint, help the tyres out with lower tyre pressures. Could be something you want to change, who knows, but we'll have to wait and see. Probably one of the last races we'll have on this game. Of course, F1 2021 comes out in a few days time, so we'll be jumping over to that one over the summer break. 29 laps then await us of the Bahrain circuit, and it's going to be a very good race at the front, I'm sure, between MX, Davila, Paus and Ghost on those front 2 rows. usually is something spectacular when it comes to Ghost, Davila and Paus. They are incredibly close when it comes to pace, and certainly in recent times as Paus has joined them. Paus joining them rather recently, when he managed to get that revelation when it come to something. He found something out and has just absolutely blitzed forward. Of course, that he had steady growth before, but just it must have clicked at one point, and it always does. You always find that little bit of, that little secret. Recently with me, I just learned how to trail brake that little bit better, and you definitely feel a lot quicker, and it does seem to translate into good results, and that's exactly what Paus has got. Maybe a little bit more in the way of consistency or fine-tuning can definitely help Paus, but he's always there, and he's sticking his nose right in the front today. MX, of course, trying to prove what he's worth in APPF1, see how well he can do. Ghost, as always, a little bit cheeky, backing everyone up, making sure he can start on the best tyres out of everyone. Only 4 drivers on the medium tyre: Scott, Bitmappy, Cletus and Saki. Everyone else going for the red mark soft compound tyre. As we now start the lining up process. Davila, you can see, really waiting up, does not want to be waiting on the grid at all. Not long now. Saki at the back, he's going to be the one we are waiting for. The MX is lining up to the grid, and it's going to be a close one all the way down towards turn 1. It's going to be a great 29 laps. Let's see if they can put on a show for us for the first year anniversary. All lined up and ready to go now. Green flag, just waiting for it. Davila looking to get a good start into turn 1 as we go to 5 red lights for the anniversary of APPF1 racing community. Waiting for those 5 red lights to illuminate your screen any minute now. Here we go. They're revving up the cars. It's a long-ish run towards turn 1, but it's such a crucial start, and we're underway in racing. It's a great start from the pole sitter of MX, who really doesn't, and he's lagged out, in fact, as we come towards turn 1. So MX out of the session. Ghost looking up the inside of Davila into turn 1. Can he get the lead? No, he can't. Paus really under pressure there. You can see 4 abreast through turn 1 and 2. Paus trying to hang on, but what a start from Sonic, as Ghost has got an amazing cutback on Paus, and MX really falling backwards, but at the moment it's Davila that leads as MX has managed to rejoin. Paus going for it around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Can he keep it? He's going to try and keep his footing. Just going to run out of racetrack though, as Ghost has had a massive squirm. That's going to invite Paus back onto the podium places, and Ghost with an absolute stinker of a start. But Sonic, what a start, as we got yellow flags to the first sector. I believe Rasto has had a bit of a spin, but Sonic on an absolute charge. Paus having to defend his position from Ghost once again, and that attack is going to leave him susceptible as Aces gets up the inside into turn 9 and 10, but he's gone a little bit too deep. Ghost again with his notorious cutbacks. Can he get the drive off the corner? No, he can't at the time being, but he's going to come right back at him, tucked nicely in the slipstream to the inside of turn 11. Can he get it? The Williams around the outside, still side by side between the two. Ghost needs to stay in front. They're just losing time every minute, every second that they fight, in fact, and he's still going to be side by side, but Ace is just going to win this fight. But Scott with an incredible start, very wide though off the exit of turn 13. Here comes Ghost again, back up the inside, does not want to be waiting around. He needs to get a move on. He's lost a lot of momentum at this start, trying to fight, gets backed up a little bit too much. Looks like it's going to be a 2-stop, but Ghost on the inside as Davila leads from Sonic. Paus chasing after that P2 place, and this is the fight now for P number 4. The Williams on the inside, the Alfa Romeo on the outside. This has been an absolute tussle between these two. Ghost trying to keep his foot in. He does keep his foot in back down the inside. The Williams might just have to concede here. He's still going to give him a run though on the inside. They are not giving him whatsoever. They've been side by side for God knows how long as they now hurdle their way in towards turn number 4. The Williams just going to etch himself ahead. Can the Alfa Romeo keep his foot in? He's going to have to concede at some point though, and he does. So Aces hanging on there for P4, but Scott with a great start now looking to get himself into the top 4. But the McLaren of that is of Max actually breathing down Scott's neck. Again, another one with a great start. Up 2 places. Scott up 5, Aces up 4. So the 2 McLarens of Max and Aaron breathing down at the champion's neck. Trying to put a bit of pressure on them. Ghost has lost a lot of time in these early stages. It really hasn't helped him one bit. Fighting, that's going to wear out his tyres, and the same can be said for Aces. But some good pace shown, and yeah, fighting so hard on lap 1 and 2 did not really help him at all, and he was so eager to get past Paus that he again lost that position. So it's all about being smart with it. Davila still leads 1.2 seconds clear of Sonic, and Paus trying to close down that gap. He's of course in the DRS ranges. We're now on to lap 3 of 29. Through turn 2 he's just about hanging on, and Ghost is going to have the aid of DRS, but slides like that, 1 aren't going to help his tyres, and 2 aren't going to help his assault against the Williams, and that is not helping him one bit. But a nice little DRS train forming behind the Williams. There's the McLaren of Aaron trying to get ahead of his teammate, and he is ahead of his teammate. It's Max that's coming back at him, trying to get his position back, but maybe team order should come into play here. Aaron definitely the quicker car of the 2, and they need to work together in this train as Max goes incredibly wide. Looks maybe to the inside. That's something Max always does. Looks to the inside, but not quite going to work out on this particular occasion. Sonic back in at 201 second range of Davila, and he's managed to gap Paus a little bit, close the gap to Davila. And Davila looking for a bit of an interesting race. Sonic, of course, hasn't commentated on him in a while, but definitely a quick driver, definitely up there. Currently in the Renault and charging for the race lead, as Max is coming back at his teammate, maybe for P7. A nice Tokyo drift there all the way through turn 12. He's managed to keep that rather respectfully. I must say that is you have to give him a little bit of respect for that, because yeah, that's definitely not an easy task to do. Davila got a lot of ERS in the tank. Sonic not so much, but he's burnt it all trying to close the gap to Davila, and he is closing at an absolute rate of knots. Maybe into turn 1 it's going to be a bit ambitious, but it's doable. Going to think better of it though, and this fight, if it does happen, is going to invite Paus back up. Scott up the inside of Ghost, gets it done, and yeah, Ghost definitely not liking his race pace around here. Chucks it back up the inside of the Mercedes, maybe again, and he's got a good run. He's pulling to the left hand side all the way up, and Ghost really fighting this one very hard. Scott's going to have to tuck back in though. Yeah, Ghost is he's someone who had the potential for P2 in qualifying, but he's not really transferred that in the race, and he's just lost his momentum. Really lost his momentum, has Ghost, and that is something that's very true. It sounds stupid, but if you get overtaken by one, chances are you're going to get overtaken by someone else if you're in a pack, and then it's just a downhill negative loop all the way through, because you don't have a chance to regain your confidence, regain your composure before you're already being attacked by someone else, which is the harsh reality of it, and why you need to always be on your game. Don't let anyone through. But Sonic's still on the back of Davila at the front. Paus just outside of DRS range. Maybe if he pushes his button, gets that little bit more in the way of time gained on the front, he can be in the virtual sort of tow hook of the front too. But he's definitely going to have DRS, slipstream I should say. As we now come on to lap 5 of 29. Expect the soft runners to be pitting in rather shortly. I would imagine their tyres are going to be a little bit worse for wear as Sonic comes through turn 1. Just going to try and roll it through, as Max is the first of the soft runners to come into the pit lane. Whether that is for tyre related issues or what is a different story. But Sonic not quite able to close the gap to Davila. Now he is in DRS range, which is strange, but definitely understandable in the way of dirty air and what have you. Scott goes in very deep. Aaron might have a little look. Not quite going to be able to get the run. Scott hangs on for now. But those mediums definitely going to be starting to settle in now and being quicker than the soft tyres this late into their stint. I say late into their stint. It's been 5 laps, but the softs really do struggle around Bahrain. And yeah, you definitely start feeling the tyre wear after a few laps or so. So Scott needs to make sure he doesn't get bogged down by the soft runners and gets through as quickly as he can. But Ghost been absolutely relentless today, hasn't he? He's really been giving a lot of people a lot of pressure as Max gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Something that's pretty hard to do around Bahrain, but I guess with him being off track pretty much most of the race, yeah, you can understand why he's gotten those warnings. But is Sonic going to be able to close the gap to Davila down the straight? Doesn't look like it. He's definitely closing, but hasn't got the ERS to defend him. Davila definitely more composed at the front. But here comes Scott. He's looking to get past Ghost, who defends, but Scott to the left-hand side. He's got the better grip. He's got the better speed as they come towards turn 1. Is Ghost going to hang on? He tries to break as late as he can, but Scott swoops around the outside to take P5 as Aaron Pitt. Is Ghost going to come back at him? You bet he is. He's tucked right up in the slipstream looking for the inside. Ghost to the outside. Those softs not going to have the grip to go around the outside, but he's going to try it anyway. Scott gives him the room and is just going to edge his way ahead and claim that P5 position. Ghost tried it. He goes a bit too deep though. Does Scott. Ghost tries to keep the foot and around the outside. It's going to be the inside for turn 8. He locks up. Scott again around the outside. He's trying. Ghost tries hard, but not hard enough. Scott hangs on for P5. As Ghost nearly goes right in to the back of him towards turn 10. That's going to be less than optimal, but those tyres, yeah, they're going to be screaming for help at this stage. And Scott definitely got the pace to just try and stretch his legs a little bit more. Maybe an undercut at the front could be something to watch out for. Maybe Sonic or Palfs. Palfs, I would say, should send it, go for an undercut, could pit a lap earlier, and try and get that run on some medium tyres to close the gap. Wonder who's going to be first to blink out of these three, though. Definitely a game of chicken, isn't it? Is Davila going to come in to the pit lane? Yes, he is. Dummies it into it. Is Palf's going to follow him in? Yes, he is. So these guys could lose out a little bit to Sonic, who stays out for another lap. Sumo now is looking to get past Ghost. Into the pit lane they go. Both lock up, both pushing the limits. And a lot of the soft runners now you're going to see are coming into the pit lane. Those are hard tyres though for Sumo. Only one of the soft runners to go into the white wall hard tyres. Are they to the end of the race? I wouldn't imagine so, but who knows, they might well be, as Rasto goes for a lovely little spin off turn number 3 and finds himself facing backwards. That's definitely not the way you want to be facing, and considering he hasn't pit yet, yeah, those tyres are going to be hurting a leaving a little bit more, and could be looking for a puncture as he spins himself back onto the track, pulls off the racing line though and lets everyone pass. Suboptimal nonetheless, and Max looking on the left hand side of Ghost. This is the McLaren now fighting with him. This undercut's worked absolute wonders for him, as that Cletus off as well. The Ferrari getting in the way of this fight a little bit, but stays off the track well enough to not get involved too much. Ghost manages to hang on for P9, and he's lost 2.5 seconds to Aaron, who got again a really good undercut. So the undercut looks really strong around Bahrain. And Davila, Palfs, both with some great pace. Here comes Davila, doesn't really know what to do with that overspeed. Clabbers the curb on the inside there. Definitely something that he doesn't want to do as he rolls through turn 13. Gets the run on S-Man, who hopefully won't fight this one too hard as Sonic is into the pit lane. Going to be interested to see how much Davila's gapped him by, or if Sonic has managed to get the overcut, I should say. Stayed out that extra lap. He's now pulling it out of his pit box. It's going to be close, actually, I would imagine so. Sonic might well do this. He might just edge ahead. Is he? There's Davila. Now, oh, that could be close, as I've completely butchered the timing, as Davila and S-Man are going side by side, but Sonic onto the soft, so he's going to be extremely quick. Palfs has managed to gain a little bit of time as well. But crucially, Davila's managed to get himself past the racing point in front. That's definitely going to help him out a ton, because now Sonic and Palfs both have to get through. And during that time, he can try and stretch his legs, because S-Man, yeah, he's not quite on there on merit. He has yet to pit. He's stretching those soft tyres out quite a lot. Breaks very late. Does Palfs trying to gain the time, but it's just going to kill his momentum. Davila already clear and chasing after Bitmappy and Scott, who are both yet to pit on those medium tyres. Can Sonic get through? He needs to really preferably get through and make sure he can use those soft tyres while they're still young. Pulls to the inside. S-Man defending when he's not really in a race with these guys, but having a bit of fun anyway and trying to see how well he can hang off, and Bitmappy letting his teammate through. But now it's Pav's job. He needs to get through to really stay in the fight for the race lead if he can. Davila just been absolutely unmatched so far in this race. And that's going to be a sight for sore eyes. Pav's seeing that red light blinking. He knows he can blitz through on S-Man. Won't have to wait around too long as he gets a good launch. But I think that's S-Man peeling off into the pit lane. So here comes Sonic trying to get past Bitmappy and chase after Davila. We'll see at the inside, tries to get this move done. Can he get this move done? Bitmappy not doing Davila any favours. Manages to defend and make him go deep to defend. Just to cover off that move around the outside. So he's helped his teammate out a little bit. And Sonic now chasing after the Red Bull for the race lead. But this strategy definitely very interesting for Sonic. I'm guessing he's going to go soft, soft, medium, or even soft, soft, hard. So definitely a little bit unconventional, but if he can get through and start stretching his legs, that could be something to watch out for. Tucked up nicely. He's used up a lot of ERS though, has Sonic, to get past the people he's gotten past, and this natural pace he's got is purely down to the tyres and not ERS, but he's got the ERS to just about attack with, and he's got the grip. Of course, if Davila does defend, he looks to the inside, brakes as late as he can, but you're not really braking for turn 11, just about manages to send it up the inside, claims the corner over Davila, and up into what is a net race lead for Sonic. And well, let's see how his strategy unfolds as Pal himself gets through on Bitmappy. 2.5 seconds back on the two at the front though, so turning more into a two-horse race between these two at the front. Davila looks more comfortable though, it must be said. He's got the ERS, he's got the composure. He might be on the better strategy, who knows. It's definitely one that's new for Sonic as he sets the fastest lap of the race on those soft compound tyres, and Davila definitely closing at a rate of knots. Could he maybe launch a counter attack? Looks to the inside but doesn't quite commit to the move. He knows that Sonic is going to gap him. He doesn't want to get bogged down in a fight and wear down his tyres. He's focused on his own race, and if Sonic wants to do something different, he can do something different. And as I say, that he's coming right back at him though with the ERS and overtake. Looks to the outside, and he's putting Sonic under a lot of pressure here. Checking it through 5, 6 and 7, but that grip, the grip the soft tyres have through those S sections is pretty much unparalleled, because yeah, just absolutely, it just sticks to the road, and Davila pushing that a little bit too hard. A nice little slide as he comes off turn 8 there, and into turn 9 and 10, rolling it through. 10 of 29, approaching halfway, just about a third of the way through the race at the moment. But Davila's doing well to keep Sonic honest, and Sonic looking backwards a lot more than forwards at this stage, despite really needing to be quicker. But the lighter fuel loads on Davila, now he's on these mediums, definitely going to help him out a big ton. So as I said, Davila still looking very comfortable at the front. Pavs managed to make a little bit of an indent on the front, but at the moment the closest battle is between Davila and Sonic, as they are closing on Scott, who's still staying out. So we've got yellow flags through sector 2. I believe that's Cletus going for a bit of a spin coming off turn 11. Davila doesn't want to get bogged down with this though. He needs to keep himself composed, does not want to waste his ERS, and if he can stay with Sonic, great. But at the moment his race on those compared to those softs is something that he doesn't want to get involved in, because he knows that those softs are going to wear out in a few laps, and then he can re-inherit the race lead pretty comfortably. Doesn't want to fight it too hard, risk contact, risk anything really, especially when he's been on fire and really showing some good pace. Didn't quite get pole, but since then the race pace has been pretty good. As MX, I don't think, has managed to stay in the session. He's lagged out and he's down in 15th, which is a shame. I think we were robbed of an extra component in this lead fight. His Aces gets in front of Bitmappy. In fact, a lot of people get in front of Bitmappy because he's gone round and he's spun, and luckily no damage done, but he's going to be tumbling down the order nonetheless. Yeah, Sonic under a lot of pressure, as Saki as well is actually lagged out of the session. But a lot of ERS is that Sumo is getting himself up the inside of Bitmappy, a compromised Bitmappy at that. And he's making these hard tyres work for him, in fact. And if he could go to the end of the race on this, it would be interesting to see where he puts himself. Bahrain always one that's interesting when it comes to strategy. And he's just outside the toe hook of Ghost there. Just trying his best to stay in. MX again leaving the session. Can't really stay in, and he's in fact 5 laps down on the leader. So yeah, it's a shame for him. He's at the front. Davila still keeping Sonic honest, and I'm sure if he wanted to go for a move, he very much could. Rolling it through second gear. Trying to get the... It's all about launches around this circuit. Really is all about launches. If you can get a good launch off a corner, you really help yourself there. And it's all about momentum as well, and that can be said pretty much about any track. It's all about keeping that momentum up and having that momentum, because as soon as you lose a rhythm, you really do not help yourself whatsoever. Looking to spot his breaking point is Davila. Again, not going for much of a move, but you can understand why, because he does not want to risk anything. He knows that the Renault is going to be in pretty soon, and he's forced him to go defensive to the inside. Is he going to go for a move? He's kept him tucked up. He's going to pull to the left hand side. Has he got the grip to go around the outside? Just about. The Renault still on the inside, but the Red Bull sweeps all the way around the outside, uses that grip that he has got and that pace that he's got, but he's immediately under a bit of pressure again. Here comes Sonic right back to the inside of turn 4, and he's going to claim that position once again. But Davila's got a nice little cut back there. That was very tidy indeed. It's not quite going to be enough to give him a run into turn 5, 6 and 7, but enough to keep him honest at that. But this is maybe invited Palfs to get back up towards the fight, and Davila with a very much just gone for an exploration of the track there, very much sideways coming off of turn 8, and Palfs could be invited back in to this fight for the race lead, and at the moment well established onto the podium, but he's going to be hungry for more, I'm sure. Scott still leads the way, but these three definitely chasing after him. Davila now on the back foot. Is that slide not going to help? One, his tyres, and two, his aid from the DRS that he was getting from Sonic. So Sonic right now could find himself blitzing away, but are those soft tyres past their shelf life? Probably are, and he's going to be pulling them into the pits very shortly. I'm going to guess anyway, but Scott into the pit lane, straps on some hard compound tyres, and is going to go to the end of the race. And he's done a good job at that. And maybe Scott could be one to watch out for. This quiet strategy, the only one really I'm going to say is going to be on the one stop. Maybe Sumo or Bitmappy. But yeah, definitely one to watch out for as he comes out of the pits ahead of Ghost, and well in this fight between himself and Sumo. So Scott really making Ghost's life very difficult indeed, and allowed Sumo to just stay in front there as he had to double lock up to not go into the back of Scott. Open the door for Sumo. So yeah, Ghost not having the best of races tonight, and going for a bit of a slide off the exit of turn 4 as well, which is a shame for Ghost. Maybe feeling a little bit rusty or what have you, might be an understandable excuse. But he managed to put it, well, not on the front row, but very much up there and on the second row. But race pace hasn't at all been there. Scott has managed to actually really be up there, and we knocked him in qualifying, but his race pace, as always, is more consistent, more just lap in, lap out, just putting the lap times in that he needs to, taking care of the tyres. Starting outside the top 10, he finds himself in P6, and arguably maybe even one of the favourites to win it, if he can keep the strategy alive and stay within the pit stop window of the guys at the front, which is something that's going to be interesting. It's one thing to get the lead, which I'm sure he's going to, but it's another thing to then keep it on those behind that are going to be a lot quicker, and I believe that could be Sumo gunning for a move down the inside of Scott. Looks for it, These hard tyres, of course, are going to be a little bit more scrubbed in than that of Scott's, which are still brand spanking new and might need a little bit of time to wear into the race, get themselves in. We've got Sumo maybe looking for a move on Scott. You can see that how much of a difference it makes. Scott's tyre is going to still be a little bit colder than Sumo's, and while they are 7 laps older, they are more scrubbed in and more attuned to the track. As Scott does go in a little bit too deep, that's going to invite Sumo up the inside. He goes for a bit of a spin though, that's going to invite Ghost to get back involved. Pushing that a little bit too hard on the exit maybe for Sumo, and he's gone in deep again as Scott, and that's again going to invite Sumo up the inside with DRS. He's going to be aided, and he's well and truly ahead, and Ghost is going to get a slice of the cake as well. So a mistake for Scott could really set him back here, because he doesn't want to dwell with these guys. He knows he's on a different strategy, and he knows he might necessarily be quicker, but now he's behind and is going to have to try and get him back in front, or wait, or be a little bit held up. And yeah, a mistake from Scott after he just said he's super consistent is certainly doesn't help. As Ghost is coming back at Sumo very much to the inside. Really skimming the wall there to get back up the inside. Just about gets it stopped, but Sumo around the outside. Scott needs to try and find a way through on these two. But great racing between Ghost and Sumo. He just found the space, just about found the space, and Scott's going to try and get up the inside. Maybe, not quite. Ghost rolling it through, goes for another spin. Scott avoids him, and Ghost, not his day at all as he resets onto the circuit. MX has managed to get himself back in. Goes fastest at 29.3, but goes now under pressure from Max, and it's a shame. I'm not sure what's happening really with Ghost. Just it's all coming apart from him in the race, and that's a shame. Really is, because it would have been nice to see him up there doing well and fighting with these guys, because Sonic is definitely flying the colours for those at the front, really giving Davila a run for his money, and he's actually taken these soft tyres very far into the race, or I should say very far into the race. He's taken them very long on this stint, and is really doing well. He's staying out another lap, so this is going to now be 8 laps on these soft tyres, which is matching what Davila's doing, and he's still got the pace there to stay with them and give him a good run. So you have to give him props, because if he can stretch those soft tyres maybe a little bit longer, he could potentially go to the medium tyres, and I would say mediums actually would work to the end of the race now, lap 17 of 29. So that could work for him. Don't count Sonic out. Maybe you doubted him with this poor strategy choice, but it definitely hasn't been a poor strategy choice whatsoever. He's kept the pace, and those soft tyres might be screaming out for help, but he's kept Davila behind, and even though those soft tyres are going to degrade a lot quicker, he's done his job. He's done well to do it, and Palf's now closing up. So I think it is now that time where Davila is getting a little bit held up, but and that's allowing Klaus to sort of close up onto the fight, get himself within DRS range. So it's going to tighten up at the front. Davila knows he wants to get through. Sonic pretty defenseless. He goes to the inside to defend. Can he hang on to it? Breaks as late as he can, but I think Davila's just got the grip to send it around the outside. Just keep his foot in, and he's got that extra grip. But fair play to Sonic there, and I'm sure he's going to be coming into the pit lane probably for some medium tyres towards the end of the race. And he's going to be able to push those, I would say, very comfortably to the end of the race. But we'll have to wait and see. He is going to come back at Davila, maybe. Probably worth coming into the pit lane, going for an undercut. Is he coming into the pit lane? No, he's not. He's staying out, and he's coming back at Davila. He's using everything he's got left in the tank to try and do so. Palf's, though, going for the undercut. He's going on the proactive stance in this race, and he's the first of the front three to pit. And I'm interested if this is going to trigger a bunch of pit stops. Davila knows how strong the undercut is, having done it himself. But yeah, Palf's on the proactive stance. As long as he doesn't get bogged down in a fight between maybe even Ghost, as he is going to come out just behind Ghost. That could ruin his chances. He needs to get through, and get through quickly if he wants to pull off that undercut. But he's definitely props to him for going for the proactive stance. Sonic still putting pressure on Davila. Davila hasn't all gapped him. Just under 6 tenths is the gap. He is losing him a little bit as he very much toys with the idea of having 10% ERS, but doesn't quite fancy that until he breaks. But yeah, 12 laps of this race remaining, and it is Davila from Sonic. Aces are up into the podium places, but remember that Palfs was the last one to pit, and if he can get past Ghost pretty quickly, that could help him. But Sonic now into the pit lane. I'm sure he's going to go to the medium tyres to the end of the race. And fair play to him. Soft tyres for 10 laps around Bahrain and keeping the pace. Definitely not an easy task whatsoever. But Scott's now going to find himself on the back of Sumo. And he is gaining on Sumo. He's using all of his ERS dummies to the inside. Nice move from the Mercedes to open up the inside for himself. Gets it done. Double front lockup. Gets it stopped. Takes the corner away from the Renault. Very nicely done from Scott to get that one done. And Palfs up in front of Ghost. Behind Sonic though. But he should be quicker. Those tyres are going to be a little bit more scrubbed in. So hopefully this is now his chance to try and get himself in front. Being behind Ghost, it was just poor timing. It's wrong place, wrong time really. And if he was in front, he might be able to stay in front. And then push on his outlap and close the gap to Sonic. He did respond, but both of them now have 2 laps of clean air. And when Davila comes into the pit lane, whenever that is, going to be interesting indeed. See what he can do and whether he goes onto the softs or onto the medium. Softs, I'm going to say, are a bit of a stretch, but if Sonic can do it, why can't he, as he now pulls his way into the pit lane? So all eyes now on Sonic and Palfs, who have got absolute crunch time for this final sector. Palfs and Sonic round the final corner. This is going to be close. Davila on the soft compound tyres, going for that final blitz. Sonic's going to have the overspeed. It's going to be very, very tight. He got it done. Davila now coming out of the pit lane. They're going to be side by side on the exit. Can Sonic get this done? Of course, his tyre is going to be warmed up. He needs to go for this around the outside. It's going to be the inside for turn 2. And Sonic gets the move done, but Davila's not going to leave him anything. And he's going to try and come back at him straight away. And Palfs lurking in the background of either of these two make a mistake. Davila back up the inside for the race lead, or a net race lead at that. Sonic still keeping him honest. He knows he needs to keep this there, and he knows he needs to stay in front because those soft tyres are going to be absolutely amazingly quick. But Davila just about hangs on. Palfs now invited to get into the fight. Sonic goes defensive. Palfs going to try and get the cut back and get himself into a net P2. But remember, Scott on that alternate strategy could be one to look out for. But these three, they just can't get enough of each other. But it's so crucial that Sonic and Palfs stay with Davila, because those soft tyres are going to be absolutely rapid. But of course they are going to wear out towards the end of this stint, so it's crucial that Sonic and Palfs stay on him and keep him honest, because if not they are going to lose a lot of time. And it doesn't help. Maybe Sonic and Palfs could swap positions, because Palfs is one with the ERS. He's the one that can really drive the force at the front. Now, maybe Sonic knows that, but he doesn't know how much Palfs has got in the way of ERS. Of course, I've got the benefit of hindsight, and maybe Palfs could be the better one to be driving that at the front. Who knows? But nonetheless, Davila, after a little bit of a skirmish, manages to hang on, but Palfs is not going to let Sonic breathe. He's going to come at him. He's got a lot more ERS. He blitzed passes the Renault. Blitzed past the Renault. That is definitely a mouthful, but coming into towards turn 1, the Ferrari just getting that move done very nicely, very comfortably. And he's going to be chasing after Davila as much as he can. Maybe Palfs could win this race. Who knows? And Scott on those hard compound tyres again, another one to look out for, as he is now in front of these guys. Aaron and Aces get to pit, so he has got the net race lead. But Sonic is just under 4 seconds away from him, and he's got around about 8 laps or so to close that gap. And those hard tyres probably going to be pretty level pegging when it comes to the hard tyres, or the soft tyres I should say, comparing the hard tyres to the hard tyres. The hard tyres are going to be close to the softs, so it's pretty much equal pace, and Scott has showed some really good pace so far in this race. But it's all down to Davila to keep those tyres alive and keep them within a good window, because if not, Paus and Scott are all going to swallow him up. Yeah, do not count Scott out one bit, and if Sumo gets those tyres to the end of the race, watch out for him as well, because he's managed to stay with Scott and keep him honest. Paus again going a little bit too deep, he runs off the circuit, and that's going to definitely leave him susceptible. Here comes Sonic back up the inside. He's going to blitz past him again, and these two getting involved in a little skirmish, not going to help him. Paus tucks right back into the slipstream, looks again to the inside, sends it as late as he can, releases off the brakes, jumps the curb though, and Sonic goes around the outside, and Paus, yeah, he's going to be compromised there. But Aaron and Ghost into the pit lane. Aaron for the softs, and I'm going to guess Ghost for the softs as well, going to blitz on this final stint. But still Sumo and Scott at the front. Scott doing an incredible race, it must be said. Absolutely flying. He's now starting to drop off a little bit maybe, but the good thing about Scott is the fact that he has got Sumo between himself and Davila. Four tenths now. Davila is absolutely flying. And he's all over the back of Sumo, who tyres are going to be a little bit worse for wear as he does pull into the pit lane, unfortunately, on his 14th stint, and going to go for the softs, but Davila's been unleashed to chase after Scott. So it's going to be close, and those soft tyres definitely going to be doing them a lot of favours to do so. Towards turn 4, rolling it through 4 Paus. He's still within a chance of maybe P2 or 3 if everyone gets past Scott, but at the moment looks like Davila's the only man with the potential to get past Scott, and Scott's really doing well on those hard compound tyres, and Davila's not quite able to catch up as quick as perhaps we'd have thought. He is there though, using his ERS, but Scott's got an absolute bank ready to use at a moment's notice. 45% compared to Davila's 20, or now 30% that he has got. But definitely a split between Scott and Davila for P1 and 2, and Sonic and Paus for P3 and 4. I would say that's how it's going to stay. It's going to be either Scott or Davila win the race, and it's either going to be Scott or Paus on the podium. But Scott, if he can just keep him behind, if he can just keep Davila behind until his tyres drop off, he's then in a better position. And he needs to really cleverly defend. And can he cleverly defend? Davila's coming at him. Scott to the inside. Has Davila got the speed around the outside? I don't think he has, but has those soft tyres got the grip to go around the outside? Keeps him pinned as much as he can. Scott giving him a race all the way through. But he's just going to have to back out of that one. But maybe he can come back at him, use that store of ERS that he has got. Davila definitely going to be susceptible to a counter-attack, and back down the inside goes Scott. But again, the Rebel keeping the foot and around the outside. Scott gives him the space, but still going to have the inside. He's going to be on the inside, but Davila just edges himself in front and back up into the race lead. And he needs to hope that he can hang on to this, and that Scott's tyres don't suddenly have a blitz of pace. But Scott's definitely going to be hoping that Davila's tyres hit a cliff. Lap 24 of 29, very much a drama-filled race in terms of strategy. Paus still on the back of Sonic, and he's got a lot of ERS compared to the Renault. But I think they're working together more to catch after Scott and maybe have a fight for P2 as opposed to P3. But yeah, Davila absolutely flying. You cannot fault him this race, and you can't fault Scott either. Those two been pretty equal when it comes to pace and differing strategies. But Davila has done an incredible job, being consistent all race and done what he needed to. Is this finally Paus going for the move. He's definitely a lot closer. He's using ERS. He's got DRS. He's going to make the Renault defend to the inside. The Ferrari blitz into the left-hand side, trying to get through. I think he's got that move done and dusted well before turn 1. And the Renault of Sonic having to tuck right back in. But Powell's a little bit compromised for turn 2. Might leave him susceptible to attack. But the ERS is not doing a lot to help him. Back to the inside goes the Renault. He goes maybe a little bit too deep. Can Powell's get the cut back? No, he can't. So Sonic back up the inside, and this fighting could cost him. It could cost him to Scott, really, because they're not actually catching while they're fighting. He has got DRS, and they are closing on Scott, but whether that's enough is a different story. But yeah, Scott doing incredibly well, and I think Aces is trying to stretch those mediums to the end. And good effort if he can. Davila, of course, is having to do all the work himself, but I think Aces has bit the bullet, and he's trying his luck here. And more lockups like that aren't going to help, but you can just see how careful he is being. If he can get to the end of the race on those tyres, you just have to applaud him for that, because he could be on the podium because of it. Because Paus and Sonic, yeah, they've really tripped over each other here. Cannot lie. Both of them definitely could have been in there for the race lead, but they've just, yeah, they've fallen back on each other, I think, a little bit too harshly. But Aces, I'm interested to see what his tyres are on, actually, because he's gone further. He's now actually levelled he's gone further than what Sumo did on his hard tyres, and he's on the mediums. So how he's still on those medium tyres, I do not know. But he's doing very, very well. As gets past Max, and Max might be interested to come right back at him. We haven't seen the tail end of Good for a while. So Max using every little bit of ERS he's got left. He's using that DRS. Can't quite convert it into a move, though, on this particular occasion. Powell's putting the pressure on Sonic. DRS open. Not quite going to work for him. Davila closing on Aces, who I'm not sure is going to be fighting the race lead too harshly. But, I mean, he's only got, around about 3 laps or so to hang on to it if he can. But those tyres screaming for help. I don't think it's his best interest to actually get into a wheel fight and stretch those tyres even more. But if he can hang on, why not hang on? He is defending. He wants this race lead. Davila a little bit short on ERS, but so he's going to rely heavily on the slipstream and the DRS. Pulls it to the left-hand side. Is going to have an insatiable amount of grip compared to the Williams, but the Williams is going to fight it, give him a run for his money, even on those 18-lap-old, 19-lap-old medium tyres. Gives him the run. Still on the inside is the Williams. He's going to try his best to come back at him, but I think Davila's got this one in the books. Nets his way through. Sonic and Paus still haven't had it for P4. They haven't managed to close at all on to the fight for the podium. There's still only P4 and 5 for these two. As it stands, Scott closing on Aces, but with just under 2.5 laps of this race to go. Can he do it? Get himself into P2 and match. Maybe get on level pagans with Davila. Davila flags at 3 sector 2. Believe that is Cletus gone round and retiring from the session on track. Imagine the late race safety car. I don't think we can get a safety car this late into the race, but it would be something interesting. He's very much parked in the middle of the road, making it extremely awkward for Powers to negotiate through. Same for everybody though, everyone's in the same boat. As we come on to the penultimate lap of the race, led by Davila, Aces and Scott. Two people you probably weren't expecting to be on the podium places this late into the race, but they've done incredibly well. And Aces really just trying his luck with that strategy there. Those mediums are going to be absolutely done. 20 laps on the mediums, and what will be, well, 22 when he crosses the line. Here comes Paus though, getting himself into P4 again, having another attempt, but Sonic breaks late enough to hang on to it. Can the Ferrari go deep enough? No, he can't. So once again the Renault hanging on to this one. And I think they've tripped each other up too much now. That catching up to Scott is going to be a very hard task indeed. Scott is caught up to Aces. And on those medium tyres, shouldn't be too difficult for him to do. Now that Aces, yeah, those tyres, as I've said, are going to be extremely worse for wear. Palf's trying his best though. He's really giving it to Sonic and trying to get through. He's being relentless, giving him an insane amount of pressure, but Sonic not giving in at all. Davila now extending the gap to 3.3 seconds. As Scott trying to find a way through on Aces. But what an incredible race Aces has done here to find himself in P2, and same for Scott. Davila got the lead into turn 1 after MX is lagging out, and since then has controlled the race, hasn't looked really out of contention one bit. As we now come on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. The fight for P2, the fight for P4 certainly on, and Aces is really going to try and bring the car home in this one. Can he hang on to P2, or is he just going to have to try and settle for P3? Sonic and Palf's definitely closing. This could be an interesting final battle between them. Sonic to the inside, Palf's to the outside, pulls to the left hand side. He needs to get it done now. He's running out of opportunities. He gets it done. Into P4 goes Palf's to the Ferrari, and it's game on. Try and catch Aces. Get yourself onto that podium. Aces very much limping at home. You can even visually see on the game how done those tyres look. And he's just bringing it home ever so slightly. Palf's and Sonic chasing after him, very Lightning McQueen style, but the Ferrari might be the one to get himself onto the podium. Don't count him out just yet, but Ace has just got to hang on. He's limping at home. He's just got to hang on for a few more corners. He find himself on the podium. Into turns 9 and 10. DRS open. There's that final opportunity. Sonic's round. Oh no, he's in the wall. Sonic! And he could lose out to Aaron here. He's going to have a ton of wing damage. And he is going to lose out to Aaron here. He blitzes past him. What an uncharacteristic mistake. He hasn't put a foot wrong all race. And on the final lap, just pushing that a little bit too hard. But it's definitely the fight between Aces and Pals for that final podium place. As it's going to come down to the final straight. Can Aces hang on? He's going to be limping at home. To the inside goes Aces. To the outside goes Palfs. He's going to try and use all of his ERS to give him a run. I think Davila is going to come across the line to win. Palfs around the outside of the final corner to just snatch that podium off Aces. He comes across the line to take P3. But what a race from Scott. What an effort from Aces to finish only 7/10 off the podium on 22 lap the medium tyres. I have to give him some credit for that. P5 for Aaron. P6 for Sonic. Sumo coming across the line in P7. Ghost, not his race today. Really has not been his race at all. Comes across P8, but not his race at all. Max, P9, good result definitely for the McLaren. Not really counting towards any championship, but he finished inside the top 10. Rasto next across the line in the Mercedes car across the line at P10. Bitmap, he got himself out of the teens into P11. 5-second penalty for unserved penalty. Just waiting for S-Man and MX to cross the line. S-Man cross the line, P12. And that is going to be the action done and dusted for today. What a win for Davila. What an effort from Scott. Palfs just harshly pinching the podium away from Aces. Scott driver for the day, very much well deserved. Must be said again, commemorations to Aces. Just managed to get himself in front, and he was so close. But it is Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari that share a podium for the first time in quite a while actually. So it is Davila that takes the win after a very hectic Bahrain Grand Prix. Scott P2 with Paus rounding off the podium. Aces a very well deserved at P4. Aaron in P5 with Sonic P6. Sumo P7. Ghost P8 with Max and Rasto rounding off the top 10. Bitmappy in at P11. S-Man at P12. Saki in P13, Cletus and MX both DNFing from this Grand Prix. But that's going to conclude tonight's action, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed. It's been an incredible race nonetheless, it must be said, and a great way to celebrate the birthday of APPF1. And I'm looking forward to the second birthday. Been here for around about half its lifespan, and yeah, really made some great memories commentating and progressed a long way since then, it must be said. So yeah, it's been 1 year. Let's see what the future holds. Thank you everyone for watching. I've been Zach Sweeney, and this has been APPF1. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.